Okay, welcome to our 7K medals meeting before the launch. We aren't going to have many more pre-launch meetings, everybody. Company's fixing to officially launch on July 28th, 29th. 29th is the launch date. Now, that's very significant because you're really in the marketplace, and those who go are going to see some phenomenal things. Number one, you're going to actually see who's behind this company and people. But you're going to see physically, just in things, more than you can possibly imagine. I mean, I think Roger Ball must own Idaho Falls. All the hotels he owns, all the stuff, the buffalo, second largest buffalo rancher in the world, and then the largest, jerky meat snacks plant in the world. I mean, that's who's behind the company. And we get products at dealer cost. And y'all seen in the video, where the mint sells to dealers, and then dealers sell to wholesale, and wholesalers sell. You've seen the whole chain. And that's the way normal business works. But our product is a fact of a Costco membership, but for gold and silver, or Sam's membership, but for gold and silver. So our customers, our people, our members get to buy something that they absolutely must have and should have in their own possession. Every wealthy person in the world has 10 to 15% at least of their net worth in physical gold and silver. So if every wealthy person has that, what do you think you should have if you don't want to be poor because of some economic cycle that you have no control over? If it occurs in your lifetime, you should at least have 5 to 10% of your net worth. That means, you know what net worth is? Okay, so I have an MBA, so I'll make it real simple. You add up the value of everything you own, and then you subtract everything you owe, and that includes your house mortgage. Now see, we have it pretty nice because we don't have a house mortgage. We own it. Okay, so that's what it means. That's why the air is a lot clearer to us. And what we experienced when we got out of the corporate world, we became debt-free, and we actually control our own lives. I want every person to experience that, because you no longer have those financial worries, those financial scares. And if you have that 10% or 15% in physical gold and silver, like we have, so I'm telling you to do something, not that I don't do. Like we have, that means that we won't lose our property to taxes, because we have something that, if that economic disaster happens, guess what do you think the value of gold and silver happens? It goes up. Yeah. And so if you look at all economic disasters throughout time, history doesn't mean it's going to repeat itself, but boy, it sure is a very good indication of what most probably will happen when it does repeat itself, right? And you look at country after country that's gone through those kind of economic disasters. Now, how many of you have friends that maybe you tried to share? I know we're in pre-launch. It's going to be different when you actually have a launch company. We're a little bit bigger, and the company is much more exposed to the marketplace once it launches. But how many of you have friends say, "Oh, I don't want to do one of those pyramid things"? How many of you? Huh? Yeah. How many of you say, "Oh, I don't like network marketing. I wouldn't do that for nothing"? How many of you? Okay. I do too. And that's why it takes my training program that I've taught y'all, or trying to teach you. It's like going to school. You're in my Millionaires 101 class. And I sincerely mean that. If it's the only college course you ever took in your life, you're in the best one here. So don't skip class and don't not do your homework. I only asked 5 to 10 hours out of your life a week for 2 years. Do I ask more than that, Billy? Huh? That's all I asked for. That's part of your job description. You are only cheating yourself if you don't put that in. It's just like the people who cut classes and want to make an A. They don't do it. I did it for 2 years, but after that, college caught up with me. It gets progressively harder, so you can't anymore. You got to go to class, okay? So, it's a real, I know the training system I give you seems so simple. But let me tell you one of the facts of life in network marketing. It is simple. But simple is to do as simple is not to do. And most don't do it. I try to raise my children on philosophy that I raised myself because I had no mentor except the ones that I read about, and I assumed a mentor in all my readings. And what do you think I read? I read successful people. I read people who went from nothing, rags to riches, the Zig Ziglars, the Jim Rohns, the Maxwells, Barry Maxwell. Okay. I read books by these people because I wanted what they had. I didn't want a job because you can make a little bit or you can make a lot, but you're still just over broke and you got bosses you can't stand working for. The only boss we have in this business is you look at them in the mirror every morning when you get up. That's it. And the good Lord. Amen. And so that's two good bosses to have if you can discipline yourself. That's the trick. Now, in this next set of series of trainings, I told you I'm going to get a little bit more detail in the how-to, in the skills, attitudes, and techniques, and put them together. Because, see, you should have a daily work list. I told you what to do, how many contacts you need to make a day in terms of exposures. I told you what you need to do in terms of making a presentation, trying to make so many presentations, 3 a week, okay? That's one-on-one, belly button to belly button. Or you can do the new FaceTime or Skype, but you're sitting there watching the video with them. You cannot depend on them to watch it. They will not. I don't know how many times I have to impress upon you that. They will not. Okay? And then many times I've told you about, your list and how to build your list and then how to talk to people, even strangers, and how you warm with form. Now, in fact, on the conference call last night, it was either Zach or Josh. One of them did a little warm with form training. Mine's a little different. I'll tell you mine is family, occupation, recreation, and money. Now, they have messed it up. I like family, occupation, recreation, and money. Now, I learned that, again, from mentors that I've read about years ago, before, as I was first learning about network marketing and doing network marketing. Now, my mentor is Jim Rohn. Great Christian, super person. I've read every one of his books, and I've taught a lot of Jim Rohn's material in the past. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to tell people to read. The types of books that I read, I'll give you reading lists, things that I know are good things to read. Okay, if you like to read and you want self-improvement. But I'm going to teach you everything you need to know in these series of trainings that we are recording, and it will be up on YouTube. And so your people can see them too. So tonight we're going to kind of summarize a little bit to help you with this objection about network marketing. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. How do you handle that? Well, first of all, if you get that objection right off the bat, switch to the product. What is our product? A membership getting gold and silver it costs, and everybody needs to have gold and silver. That's your first move. Switch automatically to that and say how much gold and silver you have. Let me see what you got. Here, don't whole handful of coins in their hands. Let them feel it. Watch that smile come up on their face. Happens every time, doesn't it, George?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ask them the question. Drop one coin in their hand and ask them the question. I gave you the script. What's the script? What's that in your hand? It's 1 ounce of pure silver. Now let me ask you a question. Would you rather have just one, a whole handful, a shoebox full, a closet full, a house full, all you can get, or none? And most people are going to say all you can get, or a house full. And you can have fun with that. That's to have fun, to show them that you can have fun with the business. That it's not just trying to sell and pump and get somebody to do something they don't want to do, because we don't want that. We do not want to force somebody to do the business, because they aren't going to do you any good. All they're going to do is complain and nag on you all the time, and the rest of the group. Okay? We want somebody who earnestly wants to change their life, who would like to have an extra $500 a month for the rest of their life. I mean, what could an extra just $500 a month do? Just kind of imagine that. Ask them the same question. What could an extra $500 a month do for you right now for the rest of your life? Could you pay off some more debts? Could you have a little bit more fun? Could you go out and eat a few more times? While you're building security, financial wealth. It's not lotions, potions, and foo-foo juice, is it? It's silver. It's something of value, no matter what their objection that they're collecting, right? And then if they want to buy some, well, they could earn some money to be able to buy some. So you take away the objection, I don't have any money to buy it, right? Well, you need it worse than I thought. You need to have a little extra way to earn some income. Okay? And if they're not already in a self-employed business, they're not getting a tax deduction. So they're donating all their dollars to the government to waste and give to people who are lazy or want to cause problems in our country. So 3 objections we just handled right there. Okay? And all we're talking about is product, right? But subtly, we are talking about the business. Okay? But we're not pushing the business on it. So when we get to the business and we get to that objection, because I know you can't just leave that. It stays forefront in their mind. So I'm going to teach y'all the things that I handle and have done with it. How to bring them back to seeing that They're not a salesperson, and you're not asking them to be. You tell them about, you know, you buy soap, don't you? You buy toothpaste, don't you? You buy makeup, don't you? You buy hair shampoo, don't you? You buy shoes, you buy clothes, you buy purses, you buy wallets, you buy hats, you buy automobiles, you buy food, right? Everybody does. Well, why do you buy it? Because your friend told you about it? No. Because you saw it on the advertisement over and over and over until they brainwashed you enough that you tried it. That's why you bought it. Or you heard it on the radio so many times. Now, by the way, they're helping us a lot on radio and TV, telling everybody to buy gold and silver. You hear it all the time. So they're doing the advertising for us. And they can get it from 7K Metals cheaper. Okay? Now, so you remind them that that's it. Then you pull out that tool you're supposed to have in your toolbox. That little bitty tool that says, now y'all, I know you may have tried network marketing before and you hate it, or multi-level marketing. But you can't refute the fact that it works. You can't refute the fact that it creates more millionaires than any other single industry. You can't refute the fact that you can start it with a little bit down. And not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, put everything at risk. And you can start it kind of part-time, have a little bit of fun, get some tax deductions. You can't refute those facts, can you? And what you do is you ask them those questions until you get them to tell you. If they say yeah, then say, tell me how. Be open. Tell me. I want to know how you can refute that fact. Now you're holding up in front of them this, right? And you got a whole bunch of companies on it. Companies they probably know. And then you got companies that you know that are not on this list. I mean, you got Amway and Herbalife, right? Everybody knows those two, right? Because everybody's tried them at least once or twice, right? Okay? Now, there are still people that made multi-millions with those businesses. Well, you say, why did these people succeed and most of those companies had products that even cost a lot more than what you could buy in a marketplace? This company is doing network marketing different. It's turning the world upside down. They told you on that video we just watched. They're selling at cost, not ripping off people none. In fact, helping people to own what they should own. Duh. Make their brains start turning, thinking. That's how you handle objections, by making their brains start turning. So this is why I tell you that when a person tells you no on your first touch or your first exposure, or you don't take them off your list. You just continue having discussions, answering their objections. Find out what their objections are. And then you're solving those objections. That's what you're doing. Because they haven't taken the time to get enough information to really say no, have they? And just remember that. All I'm asking you to do is get enough information to be able to actually say yes or no. And if they just watch the video, that didn't even scratch the surface yet. Okay? Because you have to go through the video. Okay? Example for it, why it's touchy. Okay? They made their money. How did these companies advertise? TV, radio, newspapers? No, they had people telling people. And people telling people. And people telling people. Now, who do you think made the most money in these companies? People who got into the business after 30 years, or the people who got in the business the first 5 or 10 years? Which ones made the most money? First 5 or 10 years. And did what? Stuck with it and kept doing the same things over and over and over until they got really good at it. They may have been so lousy at sharing the business for the first 2 years that they didn't even sell one piece of product or get one person to join them. Now, there are stories like that in the network marketing industry. I've heard so many testimonies and read and met so many people who went from rags to riches and had stories like that. Then, of course, there's those that get kick-started right off the bat and get a good one on the left, good one on the right. Boy, they're making money head over heels. They don't even know how it happened. Okay, now that can happen too. But where else can that happen? Oh, maybe if you win the lottery. Here you got tons of probability of that happening to you versus trying to win the lottery. Look at the odds. Kind of just think about that. We're handling objections here now. Everything I'm talking about is giving you ammunition here tonight to handle objections. Okay, let's handle that objection of network marketing. I don't like it. I don't want to sell anything. Okay, well, let me draw you a picture. Okay, everybody? This is 7K metals right here. Okay? Now, if they want to sell their memberships, what they'd have to do, they're going to have to compete with Gold Line, Roslyn, and everybody else on TV and radio, and all those other gold companies, right? And the ones on the internet, right? But what are they going to have to do? Because nobody knows who they are. They're going to either have to do TV ads, or radio ads, or newspaper ads, or magazine ads, or LinkedIn, or Twitter, or Facebook, or Instagram, or a whole bunch of other things, right? Do y'all think that's cheap running those ads? Do y'all know how much an ad on Super Bowl costs? Well, that's tons of money. And they're not selling one membership yet, are they? Huh? So it takes tons of cash up front to work. Well, if you're going to pay for these ads, what else do you have to have before you pay for the ads? You got to have a huge infrastructure of a company, because what if all of a sudden you get a whole bunch of orders in business? You better be able to handle it, or you kill your business immediately, and all that money you spend up front in advertising is gone down the tubes, and you can advertise from here to kingdom come again, and nobody's going to fall for it again. And guess what you got working for you, or really against you, when you try that? Word of mouth is working again. All those people that couldn't get their orders, or they never shipped them, or they took 6 months, they're telling oh, don't buy from that company, don't listen to that stuff. They're telling all their bad stories. In other words, word of mouth, connections, people telling people, is fighting that traditional business from doing their business. So this is what 7K has a choice. It's even starting big businesses. You can start with a product, and you can put it in a traditional business, and it's going to take you $10 million to start a business. I'm talking about, you want to start a big business like this, you better be talking about $10 million. So you got to go what? Raise capital. You got to get stock. Do that. Well, you're going to have to sell more. You have to give more of your company away to get that money, because it's risky, right? Well, 7K choose, hey, you know what? We're not going to do this. That's for crazy people. And anyway, we got lots of experience in network marketing. We've all been extremely successful in it. And one has built a $2 billion company. That's pretty successful. I said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to do network marketing. And we're going to take a couple of individuals, like you and me, and we're just kind of going to start small. And we're going to let them be our promoters. And guess what? We're going to share the wealth with them. Instead of paying the TV, advertising, newspapers, and all that, we will pay them for the advertising and promotion, and our advertising promotion expense will kind of grow with us. We don't have to pay it until it actually happens. So we don't have to pay the expense until we actually have a sale. Duh. That's pretty efficient, isn't it? Every time you run that radio advertisement, you may not get a sale. That's pretty inefficient, isn't it? Well, they can do mailers too. You ever get all this bulk mail stuff? I forgot to put that one up there. Bulk mail. Okay. Okay, now, so we are the promoters and the connectors. So we join, we pay a little fee, $250, right? And guess what they're going to pay us, Cynthia? They're going to pay us the highest percentage that has ever been paid in network marketing for longevity. They're going to pay out 65% to you and us. The average network marketing company, all these companies, the highest paid out of all these successful companies is about 38%. 38%. Yes, you heard me right. 38. Now, what is our job? Our job is to touch, make connections to other people. We have a left side and a right side, a left line and a right line, right? Okay? And we have a big point counter at the top of us, each one of us. We have a great big point counter that sits at the top of each person in their computer. Okay? And every week they add up the new points on each side into that point counter. And it comes from different ways. It comes from 20 BV for people who are buying the coin of the month. And it comes from new membership sales when people decide, hey, this is pretty cool. I want to buy some gold and silver. I want to buy it at the cheapest price. And I want to participate in this business. This is something I can do. This is something I can share with people, and I know they can't lose an arm and a leg, and they won't end up with a garage load full of lotions, potions, and foo-foo juice if they get their ambitions out of whack. A lot of people end up with those garage loads full of stuff because they get their ambitions out of whack. Well, who's going to get mad at you, Andy, because they end up with a garage load full of silver? I don't think anybody, huh? Well, they'd be crazy if they do. Okay, so I want y'all to understand this is how it happens. So let's just say for people who understand this company is going to launch in July 29th, and I tell you to give yourself 2 years to learn how, no matter what you're doing in your life, 5 to 10 hours a week. Well, let me go real slow for you. Let's say it takes you a whole year to get 2. One on your left, one on your right. Now, in between time, you get one on your left, one on your right. You might get a gift that's put down in here from somebody up above. That probably, who has that not happened to in this whole room? Well, wait a minute. That can't be. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. You just joined though, right? Okay. That's because you're at the end. Give it some time. Okay. Everybody else in here, that's happened to, right? You've all had a gift. Okay. That meant somebody from above you placed somebody on your left side or your right side. That they aren't going to place on both sides. Trust me. They're just going to place them on one side. Okay. Now, So where else can you get gifts? Now, what if one of these gifts turns out to be a person like right here and goes, wow, that'd be a pretty good gift, wouldn't it? Well, see, you have no control over that. So let's go real slow. Let's just say you got your 2, that's a P, and it took you a whole year to get your 2, okay? Now you keep promoting. You're going to have other people, maybe your people do something, maybe they don't. But let's say the next year, you get 2 more, okay? Now you got 4 people in your business, don't you? I mean, you got 500 people on your warm list. It takes a long time to work that. Their time changes in their life. Well, let's go out to year 3. Let's go out to year 4. You got 16 people. This assumes nobody else does it. I'm saying, assume nobody else does anything. That's a pretty bad assumption. This is just you. Okay? Well, after 10 years, you got 512 people and 512 people. You started making a lot of money right here. 4 years. You made your first step check. This assumes nobody else does anything. Y'all understand what I just said? Now, let's just assume the next thing, let's assume everybody is really only half as good as you. Okay? And they do something, but they only do 1. And so this is not all you. They're only half as good as you. So year 1, you have 2. You're 2. Year 2, they helped, and now you got 4. But if you find somebody else, you're getting ahead of the game. Okay? And year 3, they all helped. You got 1. Year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7. Now, each one of them are doing something. You're making checks once a month. Well, you get out here 10 years, you're already making a check every week, and they're $1,000 checks. You tell me something that you can do 5 to 10 hours out of your life a week, and that you wouldn't get better at it, and better at it, and better at it, and better at it, and become extremely proficient at it after 5 years. If you do your homework, and you actually go out and you get the no's, and you go through the process. But if you don't go through the process, you'll watch everybody else do it. And you'll watch them come up and say how exciting this business is, how wonderful it is. Okay? Everybody can do this. If you just let yourself learn how. So you are actually promoters of the business. You're not going after prospects. You're going after people to share an extremely useful business and product that can benefit them. You're helping them. And so if you really believe what I believe, you really believe you're helping them. And so I'm kind of like, y'all know me. Their no don't mean no. They just don't know what they're saying, right? That's kind of what you have to, but you don't have to tell them that. But your posture has to show that. Okay? And so, just think in this progression here, because this is how it works. If this is weeks, it goes pretty fast. If this is months, it takes you 1 year. So you can do it months, you can do it years, you can do it every 3 months, but you can put these little cycles and pins. Now, as you're building your business, see each one of these things with the P's are your personally sponsored people. So you're going to have, at one time in your business, either your left side or your right side is going to start having more points accumulating every week. At one, well, let's say this side accumulates 1,000 points every week, okay? And this side only starts cutting 200 points every week. So if you find somebody else going to be in the business, which side you're going to place them on? On the left side, your next person that you put in would be right there, and that'd be a personal P. And then you help that person do the same thing, right? And if you find another person, where are you going to put them? Yeah, you're going to keep doing this, so you're going to keep building this side until you kind of get it kind of equal. And they show you in your back office exactly what that is. You can see. You can see how many people on one side, how many people on another. You can see how much volume is generated every week. And you can balance your business. And you get better at it. But you can never stop doing what, David? Promoting. Promoting. Because that'd be like, okay, if you don't go to work, are they going to give you a paycheck when you got that 9 to 5 just over broke job? That's right. So your job that I gave you in your job description is until you get out here and you got 4,000 people in each side of your business, then you can hang it up and go to the beaches, because it takes a long time for that business to go away if it ever does. Okay? Now you can hang it up. It's called residual income. Okay? But if you get to that point, you're probably going to be like me. You're going to want to help other people duplicate that process and share in that process, because it's a wonderful process to be involved in. And the best product in the world is gold and silver. Getting debt free and having real security in your own little hands. Let me give you that final subtle point of the objection of network marketing and what we're doing as promoters and connections, okay? Now, ask your person or friend if they ever heard of Facebook. Anybody not heard of Facebook in here? Okay. Now, Mark Zuckerman, do you think Mark Zuckerman, went out and got 1 billion people to join Facebook?
He told 2. He told 2 people that.
Well, it kind of works like even if he got 100 people over his 10 years before they got to 1 billion, to make those connections. So this is just like Facebook. You're making connections. You're the promoter. You'll be the promoter. You're just making touches, connections. And so they got 1 billion members and 1 trillion touches, right? Well, that comes with time. And so don't get impatient. Stick to it. Keep doing the same thing over and over and over until it starts working for you. And working for you in a bigger way. Because all you have to lose is success. Just think about it. If you quit, I don't care if it's 5 years from now, David King, if you quit, will you ever succeed at this? Cannot. Don't matter how many times you got to get off that floor, get up, try again. Don't matter how many times you got to talk to somebody, get up, try again. You will find 2 people that, hey, I could use a little extra money. I could use a plan B. I wouldn't mind having some gold and silver. It's just you got to go through the sifting process. But if you're not sifting, you will not find anybody to hook up, to connect with. You got to sift. You got to make those touches. You got to do those things that I tell you about. You got to actually sit down and make. Sometimes you got to grab a person by the hair of the head and drag them here. You know, all you get. Hey, see, we're not twisting the arm to do it. We're twisting the arm to look at it. Okay. Dad, I don't mind how bad you twist the arm to look at it. Okay. Because sometimes I'm pretty pushy to make sure they look at it. I don't care how sour of a face they have while they're satisfying me, because I tell them, I'm never going to shut up and quit at you until you watch this video with me. Why? Because I know it's good for them. Now, I might not come back to them for another 6 months, but I'm going to come back to them because I knew they weren't in the right frame of mind when they watched the video with me in the first place. But I implanted some things in their brain no matter what, okay? So, good promoting, make connections, and start making that check every week at 7K Metals. Okay, did that help?
Yes.
Any questions? Pop them at me. How many are going to Idaho Falls? Man, cool. We got more going. All right. We're in the crew. Fantastic. That will make a difference in this long-term perspective. Make a huge difference. Woodrow, you remember the first time you went to a company event? You remember in Dallas, Texas. But do you remember how it made you feel? What it made you feel like on the inside? What it made you feel like about the company, the products, the people involved?
It made me feel like that, I was with the company of the next president of the United States.
I love it. I love it.